for the soundbite. With hollow prayers and paper crowns, we watch the water as the city drowns.
The Virgin signaled a promise made, while in the shadows the foundations fade. Sacrifice is the cry we send, but no one breaks until the world must end. The grid is bleeding, the tanks are dry. A billion gazes to a smoke-filled sky. The trucks are stalled on the interstate, and titled hearts realize too late. Earth crisis, the cycle turns to a spiral of flame. Earth crisis, no one to lead and everyone to blame. The morals were a mask, the greed was the soul. The blue world is breaking, we've lost all control. The grocery aisles are a battleground. In the silence of the docks, a deadly sound. The world falls to a puppet strings, while boardroom lords are the newborn kings.
Private banners on the city walls, mercenary boots in the hallowed halls. The harvest failed, the debts are due. The corporate eye turns its gaze to you. Jesus ticked, they neither have the water.
The red planet thrives while the mother world dies.
Take it back, reclaim the prize.
Filters on the tired soul, the seals are wearing thin. The red is waiting at the door to let the sickness in. My father died at 45, he couldn't draw a breath. He traded every heartbeat for a life beyond this death. I feel the rattle in my chest, the silicone and sand, but I will drive the piston down with a steady
shaking hand. We'll never see the oceans rise or feel the summer rain. We are the bridge of bone and blood, a legacy of pain. But look into the nursery where the little shadows play. They'll walk beneath the sky of blue because we toiled in gray.
The gravity is heavy,
But our spirits have no weight. We are the masters of the dust, the authors of our fate.
the earth is just a memory, a marble in the night. We give our lungs to give our sons the fire and the light. Oh, dust slung the price we paid to bloom, a garden for the many from a lonely pioneer's tomb. We breathe the iron, we breathe the rust, building a kingdom from the Martian dust. Bittersweet victory written in the soil. The stars will remember the glory of our toil. I cough the red, but I see the green.
A world you've built but never seen.
For the children,
For the future.
for the future.
Oh, dust along the price we paid to bloom, a garden for the many from the lonely pioneer's tomb. We breathe the iron, we breathe the rust, building a kingdom from the Martian dust.
It was worse. Every breath. Basalt and stone, where the wind has a howl and a razor-sharp tone. The sandstorms are screaming, they're shredding the glass, but we push through the freeze of the high mountain pass.
Hydraulics are failing, the oxygen's low, but the fire of the spirit is all that we know.
To the rim of the caldera, through shadows of night, we're chasing the ghost of the morning light.
plains where the new rivers run. Foremost is rising over the great Martian peaks. Look down at the world we have made.
From the edge of the heavens we unafraid.
Shout to the stars, we have arrived. Oh, oh, oh. Shout to the stars, we have arrived. Oh, oh, on the highest peak, Olympus is calling, where the stars are so close you can feel them falling. Beyond the horizon, the red world is wide, with the spirit of giants and gods on our side. the monarch of mountains, the king of the sky.
We stood on the summit and learned how to fly.
The Nullum.
The UN sends a mandate from a world of silk and gold, but they don't know the secrets that the Martian valleys hold. I've got red dust in my marrow and the iron in my veins. I've spent 20 winters breaking in the Tharsis plains. We don't wait for tankers or a shipment from the sky. We grow our own salvation where the ancient riverbeds lie.
In the lab beneath the crater where the UV lanterns glow, I bred a willow tree that loves the carbon and the snow. Our cattle move a lighter hooves across the lichen floor. We're weaving life from nothing on a planet meant for war.
Every seed's a soldier, every sprout's a battle won. The dusters are the children of the rust and distant sun. Earth is just a ghost or a legend of the blue. We've got work to do in the red, we're building something new. Dusters, the masters of the stone. Dusters, we made this world our own. Dusters, we made this world our own. With a shovel and a sensor and a heart that's made of steel, we're turning the horizon on a Martian pioneer's wheel. No kings, no crowns, no taxes for the dead. We're living by the gospel of the soil and the red.
I bred the wheat to thrive in the low G air.
I brought the moss to the canyons, I laid it there.
My sons are tall and hardy,
My daughters know the glass,
watching the centuries.
and the seasons pass.
was a jewel, a playground of glass. We forgot that the shadows were waiting to pass. Complacent and hollow, we live like the blue, ignoring the warnings of what the red dust could do. Then the sky opened up with a thunderous crack. The pressure was screaming, there's no turning back. 10,000 civilians, a flood in the dark, descending the stairs to the depths of the ark. But the lockers were empty, the tanks had run dry. The leaders had promised a life or a lie. No water, no rations, just cold iron walls as the silence of hunger crept through the walls. Fear is a virus that eats at the soul. When the belly is empty, you lose all control. The neighbor you loved is the monster you fear when the end of the oxygen cycle is near. The tunnels are red. The tunnels are red. With the blood of the weak and the tears of the dead. Blood tunnels, the lesson we bought with our lives. Only the hunter and worker survived. We waited for heroes, we waited for grace, and we found only death in that God-forsaken place. Never again shall we pass the control of the life in our veins or the breath in our soul. Is the price of breath. Complacency is the road to death.
darkness, a lion of light. The stripped away life in the cold of the night. The solar winds out all the barren remains until we found the moons in electromagnetic chains. From Phobos the anchor to Deimos the key, we wove a great shield for the world to be free. A gift from the fathers, a work of the mind, the greatest protection of all humankind.
But shadows were stirring in the belt of the stone. Pirates and raiders who claim what we own. They thought we were helpless, they thought we were weak, until the high towers of Phobos did speak.
The science of life turned to engines of war. The Sentinels wake with a thunderous roar.
From shield generators to batteries of flame, the moons are the hunters that no one can tame.
Forbidding guardians, watchers of old. The story of iron is finally told. Sentinels in the velvet of black, holding the storm and the scavengers back. Phobos is fear and Deimos is dread, the twin-colored crowns on the crown of the red, shielding the air and defending the gate, the silent commanders of Martian
From the moons, we watch.
From the moons, we strike. Sentinels in the velvet of black, holding the storm and the scavengers back. Phobos is fear and Deimos is dread, the twin-colored crowns on the crown of the red.
We watch
We are watching. other emptying crates. They cite humanity to seal off the gates. The boardroom of Earth wears a mask of the saint, while painting our freedom in blood-colored paint. The taxes are rising, the shipments are seized. They think that the dusters are easily pleased, but we didn't build this to serve at your feet. The lion is waking, the trap is complete. A merchantman burns near the asteroid belt, the first of the blows that the corporate has dealt. Their puppet government signs the decree, but Mars is a world that was born to be free. Assemble the fleet in the shadow of moons. The sky is afire with war metal tunes. We're reclaiming the sky and the helium mines, between the red dust and the corporate lines. From the pits of the moon to the edge of the dark, every Martian soul carries the spark. Nullum, Tyrannum, Pati, suffer no tyrant. The spirit of ours is fierce and defiant. No kings in the boardrooms, no lords in the blue. We're breaking the chains that were forged upon you. With fire and iron, the verdict is cast. The reign of the earthlings is over at last. Target the corporate flagship. Target the corporate flagship. Target the corporate flagship. Target. Behold the lunar dust where the corporate fell. We've sent the privateers screaming to hell.
The helium's ours, the victory's won. A message is sent to the world of the sun.
The Republic of Mars is no longer a dream. We're the masters of thunder and nuclear steam. Nullum, Tyrannum, Pati, suffer no tyrant. The spirit of Horus is fierce and defiant. No kings in the boardrooms, no lords in the blue. We're breaking the chains that were forged upon you. Nullum, Tyrannum, Pati, suffer no tyrant. The spirit of ours is fierce and defiant. No kings in the boardrooms, no lords in the blue. We're breaking the chains that were forged upon you. Their banners are torn, but a desperate malice is finally born. They've opened the silos, the demons take flight. 1,000 white trails in the velvet of night.
The Arkensea shudders, the sirens are loud. Death is approaching in a nuclear cloud. The Admiral speaks with a voice made of stone. No fire shall touch what the dusters have sown.
The Arkan fleet gathers, the formation is tight. Point defense cannons are screaming with light. Interceptors are launched, the horizon is gold, as stories of valor and honor unfold.
But the magazine's empty, the wrecks are all dry, while hundreds of warriors still streak through the sky. There's no time for prayers and nowhere to run.
The work of the martyrs has only begun.
Save the red planet, to save every breath. We'll
Sail our great vessels through the valley of death. Protectors of the Arkensea, the wall of iron and pride, the shields of a nation with nowhere to hide. When the steel was exhausted, when the cannons fell still, they answered the call with the strength of their will.
between the blue fire and the world of the red, they gave up their lives for the living instead.
All engines to maximum.
Race for impact for Mars.
I'm Mars, I'm Arkensea. Silence returns to the vacuum of space, where the wreckage of heroes is drifting in grace. Not a single missile breached the shield of the brave. They turn their own hulls to a patriot's grave.
Now the children look up at the stars in the night and see the Arkan fleet, the ghost of the light. The war is now over, the price has been paid.
By the finest of men that the red world has made. Protectors of the Arkensea, the wall of iron and pride,
The shields of a nation with nowhere to hide.
when the steel was exhausted, when the cannons fell still, they answered the call with the strength of their will. Strength of God. We stand alone. We stand the watch
For eternity. For eternity.